Kapukaha loa ku makapea. Kanuia ha loa uluha ha loa ukalau ha loa ike au la puka. Those are words from the Kumulipo, from the 13th Wa, that speak of Haloa, who is our common ancestor as Kanaka Hawaii, Kanaka Maoli. And I wanted to start off with that because I'm going to be talking about 2019. You know, I was asked, so what about 2019? Well, lono iko makahiki to everyone. But we're almost at the end of January. And time is speeding up. There is a quickening. And with that quickening, there's so many things happening. So 2019 is going to be a good one. It's going to be very intense. It might be hard for some people. But overall, we have to remember that we're moving into the light. And it's really important that this is really important that we silence our phones because of technology. Now, 2019 is going to be very intense. Probably more intense than 2018. Because we haven't hit the peak yet. So we need to hold makoko. You know, in Hawaiian we say makoko and everybody goes I automatically. But my words to you are literally e ho'omakoko. Cause yourself to be ready in all sense of the word. Prepare for everything and anything that could happen. You know, if you have an emergency kit, good. If you're growing some of your own food, good. If you're not, either start growing or get with the hui and depend on the aina, because the aina will feed us. Hanai mai. So, it's important that we know that, because I'm going to tell you one thing, the supermarket will not always feed us unless you have kala. But 2019 is exciting for us as Kanaka. It is a time of expansion for the lahui. And that means growth. That means learning. You know, we are blossoming in the area of education, of learning new things, but also of reclaiming that ancestral knowledge, of reclaiming and learning again and reconnecting to our traditional practices. On the academic front, we have more Hawaiians with higher level degrees than ever before. I'm sitting in on a class with Lili Kalaka Melehiva on Hawaiian mythology and Hawaiian genealogy. And when she asked the students to introduce themselves, now these students are like a third of my age, she asked them for their name and where they're from, and then she asked them, and how are you going to serve the lahui? And that is such a poignant question to ask, to get them thinking at that young age that they are there to serve the lahui. They're not there for only personal gain, for personal success, for personal recognition. That as we do these things, we need to do as our kupuna did. We need to excel. And she teaches a writing intensive class. And she tells them, I know you already write better in Hawaiian than in English, especially if you've gone to 300-400 level. But, you know, we need to be able to battle on the battlefield in English. And I'm a very peace-loving person. I don't like confrontation. But when you are sovereign, there are things that you defend with your life if necessary. And it is important that we know how to do battle. When you go into battle, you need to know your enemy. You need to know how they think. You need to know what moves them. You need to know their reactions, their resources. So knowing their language well is a plus. Knowing their system and how it functions is a plus. Because then we enter into battle on an even playing field. Up until now, it hasn't quite been as such. But as we are seeking out who we are to become sovereign as individuals, we are learning all those things. And so there is expansion and awareness for those who are not in the academic arena of education. There is education in the communities. There are things like farm to table. There are endless fish ponds, the local i'a, the lo'i that you can volunteer and work at. There are little co-ops. There are people who are doing things everywhere and doing our traditional practices. And so learning, or not the opportunity to learn, is not lacking. If that's not happening in your life, then make it happen. Because there has never been more accessibility to learning and to learning new things. And, you know, it's always good for us to know our culture and our language. And by the way, language learning is a lifetime journey. So if you've taken a lot of courses and you think, oh, I still don't know Lalo Hawaii, that's okay. You still know more today than you knew yesterday. And if you keep trying, next month you're going to know more than you knew this month. You know, we need to be realistic. When we get older, it's not as easy to learn things as the kids. That's why the importance of the Kayapuni schools is still there. We want people who think in Hawaiian, about Hawaiian things and about other things, who have such a sharpened and clear cultural lens that they see the world as, because that's how we're going to get ahead. That's how we're going to imua. That's how we're going to holomua and move forward. And along with that learning comes our understanding. And understanding and looking realistically at the world that we live in. We live in a multi-ethnic world in Hawaii. Even during the time of the kingdom, there were many different ethnicities of people who were members of the kingdom. And we need to remember not to exclude them. We need to reach out to them. Because a lot of them who have not come and full-heartedly supported the causes or the mauna, whatever the cause is, there is a lot of fear there. Because in their mind, if we have any kind of sovereignty or acknowledgement, they're scared they're going to have to leave Hawaii and give up everything. And we need to reach out to them. Many of us are not kokopiha. And so then what do? We're not going to cut off half our body and half our body does one thing and the other half does the other thing. And so there has to be an effort to reach out. You know, I was at the Capitol the other day for the opening of the legislature. There were so many people who came by in solidarity to be there with us. Not to be there for the opening of the legislature per se. They were there to see what we were doing. Because they weren't invited to all those private parties on all the offices on the other floors either. You know, and so the support is there, but we need to make an effort to reach out. Because by expanding that in that way, we need to grow. There's room to grow in that area. And in spite of the, you know, we're moving forward in the international courts. Mahalo to Keanusai and to many others who are out in that field, you know. And it's kind of dangerous if I start naming people because I don't want to forget anybody. But there's somebody who I have to mention because people are moving ahead. We are moving ahead on all different fronts. And one of the fronts that is right in our face right now is that which Keawekane and Uikapu on Maui are doing. They are living on their kuleana lands. They have gone into the system, used the existing system, and they have their land, and they are living on their land. And they will be on their land with their children and their grandchildren. And they are growing kalo. And so we need to know that that is a venue. And Keamoku has started to go and to speak on the different islands. There are people on all different islands who are going through that same process that he went through. And this wonderful man and his wife give freely of their time. And they will walk you and talk you through the process. But you still need to do the work. Some people wanna, but then they say, oh, but I don't know how to do this. It's hard work to put together all the documents that are needed. But it's not impossible. And the question comes down to, how badly do you want to do it? And so if you have not yet heard of Keamoku or seen him speak, the next time he's in your area, go and find out. And if not, get on Facebook and message him. And if you don't know how to find him, find me on Facebook and I will connect you to him. I've known Keamoku for a number of years, as well as his wife and his family, his children. And once I was somewhere and I heard a comment that said, you know, too bad we don't have any real ali'i left. And I thought, I know one. I know Keamoku because he was one of the ali'i on Pu'ukohola. And never has there been a person who has so unselfishly served his community. He'll never turn you away and say no. He's always helping everybody. He's like the Energizer buddy that never stops. You know, and I have so much aloha for him and his family, and especially for Ui, his wife, because she supports him. And this is just my little blurb for them. Because no, we do have ali'i. We do have ali'i who care and who are concerned and who take care of the lahui. You know, we're so fortunate as Kanaka to have had ali'i who had the foresight. Queen Emma, in spite of all her grief. Queen's Hospital. Queen Kapi'olani. Yay for the wahine. Queen Kapi'olani, Kapi'olani Hospital. Pauahi and Ruth, education. Lunalilo, Mala Ma'ina Kupuna. Lili'ul Okalani, Mala Ma'ina Kiki. So they looked to always care for our people. Not thinking, oh, when I die, well, that's too bad. Because here we are, 100 years, 200 years later, and we're still benefiting from the institutions that they founded and set up. So there's so much promise for the lahui. Don't think that things are hopeless just because the Po'a America is still here. We know that that's an occupation. And we also know that as we step into the light, things are made pono again. But we need to make sure that things in our individual lives are pono. And so for the Kanaka, 2019 as individuals, it means internal growth. It means healing above all. And along with that healing comes that ability to love and forgive ourselves. You know, we got the other one, love others, forgive others. But sometimes that last step, that last obstacle is the part about forgiving ourselves and loving ourselves. And it's important that we take that to heart and that we make an attempt to do that if that is where our problems lie. Oftentimes healing reveals that. And it's that last push for the complete healing. And so I encourage you to look at yourself and see if that's one of the things that maybe will just help you and your ohana and your community and the lahui. It's not pointing fingers, and the things I talk about are not easy things, because we still all have our pride, but we are so lucky that we have our kupuna to look to and the examples that they set for us before they left this world. The other thing we have that other nations in lahui don't necessarily have is that we know and we acknowledge that they still communicate with us through dreams and visions and promptings. And so if you don't have those in your life, then get to the space where you have them, because it's really important. You're never alone. They're always there to help you. But it doesn't mean that you're never going to have problems. It means, particular when you have problems and when you come up against the trials in life and the difficulties, that they will help you get through it. They will help you get through it. They will give you the insight. They will give you the strength that you need to work through those things. It's important that we connect. In the last women's circles I've held, that seemed to be a recurring theme of the need to connect with like-minded people to strengthen each other. That kind of support is kind of an intangible thing a lot of times. There's monetary support and tangible support, but the kind of support we really need when we're going through those hard things is the intangible one. And that's where prayer comes in, but that's another topic. But as far as individuals, strengthening our connection to our kupuna, strengthening our connection to our higher selves, strengthening our connection to that group of people who are in your community, who make up part of your community, that you deal with every day, and you go out and you have fun with, you go sing karaoke with, or you go watch the eclipse with. Those are the relationships we need to nurture. And we need to take care of each other and be there for each other. Because as individuals, no man is an island. We're not going to stand just us. Because it has never been just us. We come from a long line of people who knew that community and working together, you could achieve so much more. So in that chant that I started with, when it says ulu ha ha loa, we shall continue as Hawaiian people. Whether you're koko piha, whether you have just a little bit, whether you're Hawaiian by injection, whether you associate with Hawaii because you live here and this is all you've known or your ancestors have known, it's important that we come together. And 2019 will bring us as many blessings as we're willing to work for and seek out. So that's the prognosis for 2019. E holomua ana kako me he lahui Hawaii. E loa ano nke ea. Ya mako pakahi. No na ohana. No ke kaiaulu. Ame no ka lahui. But hana. Ola na hana pono. Ola na kini akua ya kako au paulua. Mahalo nui loa. Ahui ho.